bro?
What? Bruce
What
or
we're talking
Jason
about.
Lee.
Jason Lee in the Dragon, right? Or was it Dragon the Bruce Lee story, right? It was Dragon. Because it wasn't
Dragon. Yes, the
entertaining.
Bruce Lee story. Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. Yeah, yeah.
It's just so funny because I remember watching it and I'm like, you know how certain things you're watching it and you're like, oh, based off of a true story. So you're like, oh snap, that means it's gotta be real. And my cousins watched, I absolutely fucking love Dragon. Because I used to love everything about Bruce Lee at that time, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then it's like the obviously I knew it wasn't real, but the idea of him fighting these demons, but then also him going on to this. I don't know what the proper term is called, but how he had to fight people for him to train the Guilo, right? I don't even know if it was really Guilo that had a problem with teaching black people, but
Shit sounded good to me.
right, right, but
So accent and everything. Oh, Guaylo. Oh yeah, okay.
he's a Guilo, right? Like and I think he beat up some dude, and then the guy supposedly did a cheap shot, and I don't know if that was real because I think there was other stories saying that he had that back problem from improper weight training and over pushing himself or some stuff like that. But then I don't know if he has a heart attack or it was an aneurysm or something that happened. Do you remember what killed Bruce Lee?
There's theories out there. I think officially on the paper he had some kind of reaction to something. I think
Oh yeah, yeah.
something like that
He- okay, yeah.
because he swelled up. He swelled up. I think the the toxicology or the coroner picture supposedly he does have a engulfed or inflamed or very swollen head.
Okay.
But I don't know what that means. Something like that though. But it's wonky. It's
Well,
wonky.
I wonder, do you get swollen heads from brain trauma or is it just swollen brain?
Seeing that,
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
Yeah.
That I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So I just remember watching it. My cousin was like, "Yeah, right. Like if I told the story, of course I would kick everybody's." Like this is before Dave Chappelle talking about the Dave Chappelle show, or Dave Chappelle movie where he had a 13-inch penis or something like that. Like whatever his joke was on that movie. But yeah, like uh, yeah. Yeah. So my cousin was saying that, and I thought it was just hilarious because he was like, "Yeah," and there's a part was like when he said that, I was like, "Yeah, that's kind of true. If I was writing a story, of course I'd make myself." Amazing. But I'm glad you brought that movie up. Was that one of your favorite movies growing up, or?
As I was bringing it up, I was listening to somebody talk about him, but I do remember that movie. That movie was fucking fire because I was thinking the same thing. A lot of movies back then were doing the whole based on uh true events or based on Bruce Lee. You're like, this is a
Oh, I was
documentary film, but this is gonna be fucking fire. You see the trailer, you're like, oh, that looks like him, dude. Oh, dude, they even show, Enter the Dragon. Oh, they show and all that. I was like, oh shit. I remember watching it. I don't think I did a rewatch of it. But Bruce Lee was, yeah, a big deal growing up for sure.
oh yeah, for
Uh,
sure. Funny you said it because at that time,
yeah.
well, a couple of things was like, was it Jason Lee? Also, I'm not sure if you knew this. Jason Lee was also in one of my favorite trilogies of all time. It started in the 80s and ended maybe in the 90s, starring Michael J. Fox.
Oh, TV show.
No, no, it was a
Oh,
movie.
oh, movie. Back to the Future.
He was in Back to the Future 2. He was the guy that said, "You need more power."
Oh, do you remember that?
That was Jason Lee, man.
Jason Lee. Oh man, he's
Yeah.
definitely top. He's probably top five Chinese American actor for sure, just based on that movie alone.
Well, number one, in my opinion, has to be the dude that did the voice for well, that it's the main Asian guy that's been in like Big Trouble in Little China. He was in Seinfeld where he did that little door or whatever. He's like the Chinese restaurant thing. He was the voice in Panda, Kung Fu
Panda
Panda.
Express. Oh, okay.
No, yeah, didn't say that. I think he was also Tia Kerr's dad in Wayne's World. The dude's been in a
Oh,
lot of stuff.
who
Yeah,
who is that? What's his name?
he was also in. If you haven't seen it, and I hope you did,
I
Everything
mean, I
Everywhere
guess
All at
I know.
Once.
I think
Yeah.
Sammo Hong, maybe. I don't know.
I have to look up there. But
Could be
that dude's like
someone.
an OG because you've seen him in like he's in everything. He's the Asian Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know what? Let me take the back. Samuel Jackson is the black version of him. Because
Could
he's been
be.
in so many things. You know what I'm
Guaylo.
saying?
Guaylo.
I know, right? I know.
Oh, that's
Uh,
funny. That's funny. Yeah, Bruce Lee's up there. But no, it was funny. I was listening to this former UFC fighter talk about Bruce Lee, and they were
yeah,
talking about the evolution of fighting as we see it today, right? It's a lot more accessible to the everyday person as it ever has
yeah.
been. So, and he was talking about Bruce Lee, the philosopher, is more celebrated than Bruce Lee, the martial artist, in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? Because where martial arts is considered today, where the style of what he was doing was, important for the time where he was at.
Yeah,
I'm
he
just
was
now I'm extending the thought, but this is just what I'm thinking. It's like,
yeah,
oh,
Jeet Kune Do is pretty much because he had put out the idea of Jeet Kune Do, in the 70s,
mhm.
which turns is now, in most cases people would say is what mixed martial arts is. And Bruce Lee broke it down to like simplicity in a way. It's like, of course you're gonna have to learn everything. You take the best parts of every martial art and you put it into it, and I'm gonna call it Jeet Kune Do, a form of no what was it, form of no form, something like that, or
Form or no
yeah,
form. Yeah.
yeah, form of no form, right? So like the idea you adapt like water, and I think you said that to me years ago too. Be like water, so you just adapt. Um, but yeah, it was he was like not the I guess he was originator in the ideology of it, because he was also I guess heralded as a really good philosopher in the way he thought, at that time,
Oh, for
especially
sure. I think that's what I take most from him. But it was cool to see kind of his movies because it was the quintessential like Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, just in, like a Chinese theme essentially, where it's like it's not the old school kung fu movies with the monks and the wizards and the abbots with the long beards and the Shaolin
Yeah.
style. Like this was like, oh, this fool got charisma. This fool kind of hard. Oh, this fool skinny
Oh yeah,
buff.
heck yeah. Skinny buff, and
This
then
fool fighting
like, and
Chuck
then, and then put on,
Norris.
and then put on the glasses, like
Yeah,
just took in the '70s style. That's swag. Like
yeah,
Chinese gave you swag. Like what I'm saying, the '60s, '70s. Like when he came in, he got that clean cut. Then he got to that '70s swag with the glasses and whatnot. It was
Wagyu
like, yeah,
icon.
swagoo. And I mean, yo, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was
Yeah,
taking lessons by him.
yeah,
Was a friend of his,
yeah.
and that dude didn't supposedly uh people didn't like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at first,
Oh yeah, based on
which
that HBO show.
yeah, I was like, what? Based on the HBO show, and then there's other stories, but it's like, he just was the guy you didn't want to mess with or whatnot.
Makes sense.
Which I
Superhero.
absolutely freaking love that show too. I mean, I loved like the first 6 episodes or whatever how much it was, and like the last couple kind of was whatever, but definitely love that show. Was it
Yeah.
they didn't even call it Showtime, they call it Winning Time
Winning time. Yeah.
because they didn't want to call it Showtime because it was HBO.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're called the Showtime Lakers, but you're not gonna put Showtime on HBO.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Get people confused.
Oh, they're merging though, right? Wait, no.
No, 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 no. That was AT&T and HBO, and then now HBO got sold off to Warner or something. No, no, Discovery, and then they're taking a dump, like falling apart.
Oof. A lot of merging going on. A lot of merging. A lot of buyouts. Especially in the media world.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah, Bruce Lee, marketing genius. Or whoever's behind the campaign of Bruce Lee or however that became a thing. Tremendous.
yeah,
But
just
yeah,
a genius.
philosophy for sure is it's the uh it's the basis for a lot of thinking, especially in the MMA game for sure. And then the way that they captured his all of his demonstrations, the way the movies kind of played out, uh back then it was mysterious. You know what I'm saying? Like Bloodsport was based on a true martial artist. Like Frank
Yeah,
Dukes, like he claimed to go to, these underground tournaments and motherfuckers fight till death and shit. You know what I'm saying? That was the belief. I remember doing martial arts and I was like, yeah, that shit real. You know what I'm saying? Then
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how true it was nowadays, but I've heard of people doing deep dives and they're like, yeah, he would get dropped off and go into the woods with like a duffel bag and then come back with like a trophy and shit. Like, what? For real?
It's
Like,
the part of Street Fighter, right? You know, the
yeah,
whole is a Ryu.
yes. Hmm.
Even though I still want to call him Ryu, I don't care. Like it's Ryu, but I my American side wants to call him.
Ryu, baby. Who says you?
Hadouken.
You?
Yeah,
They was say Ryu. Hadouken. Like, that's what we doing.
yeah. Hadouken. You throw a Hadouken at this birch.
That's what I
You
do.
know
When
what I'm
Fei
saying?
Long came out, I was like, oh shit, this fool got Bruce Lee moves
Oh,
and shit.
the Fei Long. Which one? The fake one? The fake. No, it was no. Shay Long was the one that they.
Shane Long. No. Shane
The
Long
Shay
is
Long.
the
Shay Long was the fake character that they created. I want to say it was IGN that created it because it was like this whole fake story of Shay
Oh yeah, we
Long.
did that one. I'm talking about the Bruce Lee looking one. Isn't he in Street Fighter or was that
Fake. No, that
Geo?
was Shing. Wait.
Oh, who was there like a imposter Bruce Lee in Street Fighter?
Yeah. Maybe it was Fei Long.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Fei Long, right? I'm old school. Old school Street Fighter.
Yeah, that was Street Fighter
Like
2 Turbo, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Not necessarily a
not an
not
upgrade, just
necessarily like a
faster.
yeah, Fei Long. Fei Long. Fei Long, yeah.
Fei Long, man. I was like, oh shit,
He did
Bruce
the whole
Lee.
he was super dope because I remember the punches and his like fire kick that he would do.
Oh yeah,
Woo!
the we're going up.
Yeah. Like the
See,
destroy
oh,
zone.
Bruce Lee, man. The Bruce Lee is, yeah, he was philosophy wise. He said an interesting like wave from his existence in America.
It's actually funny now that I think about that because that came out in 1993. I'm surprised it didn't start off with the Bruce Lee type character in Street Fighter. It was like weird, like they didn't, and then all of a sudden the fighting games started adding Bruce Lee type characters into their fighting games. The only one that did maybe it was because of Mortal Kombat
Oh,
because he had
what's his name?
gosh man our memories shot. Let's see, it was something
No, it can't be.
uh I don't want to say Shang-Chi because that's the new
I
one.
know. God damn you. I was thinking in my head a million times. I was like, that's not it. That's not it. Don't look it
Uh
up. Let's be old school.
let's see.
Oh,
Kung
jeez.
Lao. Kung Lao was the other one with the hat.
Kung
So
Lao
I
with
was
the
like,
hat. Okay.
Kung
Okay.
Lao wins.
Kung
Liu
Lao.
Kang. Liu Kang.
Luke
Liu
Kang.
Kang. Liu Kang. Because
$1,000.
Kung Lao is
Guilo.
Liu
Guilo. Go ahead. Guilo next. Go ahead. Guilo next.
Kang. I said orange chicken for 500,
Liu
please.
Kang. So they made him Korean, right? Kang is what was that last name? Is that Korean or is that
Well, I thought Kang could also be Chinese.
oh Kang could be Chinese. Okay, okay. Liu Kang. Yeah, he came out with that bicycle kick. I was like, yo, what? That's like a bicycle
Yes.
kick.
Yo, I hope if anything happens when you go into when you pass away to go to the spirit realm, whatever. I hope you can just go back at the times that you just enjoyed the most. You know what I'm saying? Like I was looking at some pictures of people in the 80s. I was like, man, I love what I remember of the 80s. You know, like it was like certain things were so simple, like the exciting of like, oh, let me put this VHS movie in and watch this.
Oh
And
yeah.
movies were, I'm not saying I don't like you get accustomed to certain things and then things get like grander and more grander to a point where all you are adapting to is the biggest grandioses of like movies and stuff, right? And what I'm trying to get was like movies were so I don't know, authentic or innocent at the time. We're just gonna throw out this idea, throw this one out, boom, and they did it, and people would try different things and weird things, in the 80s. Like, well, people were trying weird things in the 80s, but you had the Ghostbusters, Police Academy, Back to the Future, uh, I'm gonna get you, sucker. These are the ones I stand up for. You're gonna have Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah, the Back to the Futures,
Coming to
ETs,
America.
Coming to America, right? And these are ones I'm just saying because then you had
Eat
if you're
Street.
going to
Oh man.
even if you're going like Eddie Murphy, you had Trading Places. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Trading Places.
I
Beverly
want to
Hills Cop.
yeah, Beverly Hills Cop. I also want to say Terminator started in that time.
Terminator. Yeah. Yep, yep.
Then you had late was I always joke around because we've said this in the podcast before, but you had Ferris Bueller's Day Off and how somehow he was hacking into the school computers at that time. Then you know was one of my favorites in that time was Flight of the Navigator. Have you seen
Oh
that one?
yeah, dude, the one with the silver blob.
Yeah, the Silver Blob
Oh, that was my
slash
movie, dude.
UFO,
That was my
right?
movie. Down, down, get around. I get
Like in a rap.
around.
Yeah, and he got into the ship, and then they went so fast. He went into the future, and then he went fast to go into back into the past or
Don't
whatever.
change the
I have to watch.
past.
Yeah, I have to watch that again. Yeah, like because it's like I don't know what happened, but he was in the future. He got lost and got into the future. Right, he was on a ship and then went into
Yeah.
the future. Whatever happened, and then he went as fast to go back. He's like, I don't know if we can do this. We're not supposed to. And he got really small. And it was like trying to go through that to get him back into the past so he can relive his life as a kid. I now have to watch it because what I'm saying this movie, it made no fucking sense. Like I don't know what the purpose was. Just the kid went into the future to go back into the past or whatever. Like, was it not a allegory, but was it analogous to anything? I just want to go back. Or was this a story? Obviously, not everything has to have a meaning. But it's just like when I talk about it now, it's like this movie doesn't make any sense. I think I'm gonna have to watch it again.
My guess is based on what I remember. I watched it a couple years ago. I found like a DVD rip of it, but I probably have the VHS somewhere. Anyways, I think it was toying with the idea of like time travel through speed. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Some kind of thing of that. I'm pretty sure that was probably like the science of the time. Like hot shit. Like, oh, this is we're trying to come up with a time machine. Like all those movies at that time. Like it was all about time machines. You're like, what?
Yeah, that's true.
Now we're going somewhere else. And then on your thing on the 80s, when you're explaining that to me, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, you know what? Why? It's because that's when movies weren't really making hella money, it seems.
Yeah.
So it kind of gave an open kind of like, when YouTube first started before it became TV, and it was just like, oh, random videos are just popping up here. Like that's what
Yeah.
it seems like
No,
movies were like.
well, yeah, because I mean, at one time, and I didn't know this, but at one time, VHS tapes were fucking expensive to buy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like, there seen a VHS were like hell expensive at the beginning. And this
Yeah.
is only based off of things you grew up on, Um, then I'm thinking of like not only things that came out like that. Yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that came out in the '90s, but like the cartoons, just the
G.I.
'80s ones I
Joe.
remember.
Oh,
GI
Transformers.
Joe. Well, GI Joe was before, but the cartoon
Yes.
Transformers. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, for me, it was like you had Transformers, then you had Voltron, right? Which I
Oh.
still to this day get irritated when I watch Power Rangers to be like, motherfucker, that's Voltron, my nigga. That's the Voltrons.
Hey man, how many seasons is that going on?
What? You're talking about Power Rangers? I don't even.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Still
like
going
I said,
strong,
R.I.P. the
dude.
Green slash White Ranger. You know what
Oh,
I'm
I
saying?
know. Rest in peace, Tommy, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But then, like when you talk about that too, I think about the '90s when you said Tommy. I instantly thought about Tommy from Martin. Speaking of
Oh
like
man.
back and listen to or random things, I was on the Peloton the other day. I was working out, and then like I was on a hip hop one, and then the guy put a song on there, and it was Redman, and it was Redman with Bus Rhymes like the goodness. It was like the
Uh,
one. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
Which one is it?
I think it's off his Redman's second album, right? It was on Redman's album
It
featuring
was on
Busta
Red
Rhymes, right?
featuring Bus Rhymes. Yeah.
Uh, uh the
Another remember the
beginning.
lyrics.
Uh, I could be
Dream
wrong.
Hook. Dream Hook, maybe.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of it. Wait, was that Method? No, no, no. Was Bust on that one? Fuck.
Redman and Busta. Which one are you thinking of? Do you know the hook? Just throw out what you think it
I'm
is.
trying to think of what's it called? Back the fuck up.
Yes, yes, that is
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
How the
right?
fuck out? Straight the fuck out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. There you
The
go.
boy in your body shakes taking ass. That shit was like I put
Because
that
the
on.
beginning, we used the beginning. I remember dancing to that. The beginning was so fucking
Well,
hard,
see,
bro.
the one I remember you dancing to, right? And you guys did this mix with Raekwon and the Rottweiler, and it was like I was like, who fucking made this mix? It
Oh
was
yeah.
and I still remember because I was like, I have to find that mix to this day. It was you did Raekwon and then you did the Rottweiler one or the Rock
Yeah.
whatever one.
Dun, 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 dun,
And
dun.
yeah, so the goodness I remember. Wow, the fuck out. I was listening to it, I was like, yo, I forgot how hot this song was.
Oh, dude, Redman
Like
was
Redman is like yeah, go
big.
ahead, sorry.
No, no, no. You're good. You're on the right path. I'm right there with you. I'm just
Redman when I was
reminiscing.
listening to him, I was like, well, before Eminem, I remember someone saying this before Eminem, there was Redman. Like Redman was a person that made you laugh but had lyrics to it. Like
Uh,
most of his songs were outlandish as far as jokes, but
yeah.
he had bars to his jokes.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like he was just like, and I still remember watching his fake MTV Cribs where he's like, yeah, come to my house, and
That's
it's
got to be
still
the most watched crib episode. That's got to be one of like
like
top three for
Red.
sure. Yeah.
And sometimes it's funny because like we think about like greats of all times or whatever. Most people are not talking about Redman.
Oh
You know what I'm
no,
saying? We
no.
overlook him, but it was like, but as like a hip hop personality, regardless of his lyrics, he was always a person that you're wanting to watch because he would say the realest, funniest shit. Though it was like he was be real, but it was just so funny. You know, like it was different than like that the New Yorker real, where it's like you know, what I'm saying? It was like it
Hmm.
was all funny to him. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, I got high on crack, bro. You know, like I'm just all over the place.
That's
The
how
shit.
Busta was too. It was like a shift in like kind of the artistic and like comedic side of hip hop.
Did you feel Busta Rhymes was? It was weird because I thought Busta Rhymes wasn't. It was funny, but he wasn't comedic like Redman.
Man, watch Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See. Watch that
No,
music
I
video.
no the music video was sick because like one was just like no. Do you no? What's the other one? Freaking you out, picking you out, picking you out. It's the one where he
Oh, give me
reenact.
some more.
Oh, oh,
Man, give me some more.
no.
Oh,
It's the one. It's the one where he's running down and he's reenacting movies, and he does. One
doom,
of them
doom,
he
doom,
does.
doom, doom, doom,
Yeah,
doom, 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 doom.
yeah,
Oh, no.
because he does. Because he also comes out
This
as like
is
beast.
dangerous.
Yes, yeah,
We
we
can
can make
make you
you mad.
delirious.
And
See, that's what I'm
it
saying, bro. Fool was
Bruce
hilarious.
Leroy came out
Yeah.
as Bruce Leroy. Yeah, like
Come on,
that
man.
shit was so funny. And then I think it was like his brother who's in whiteface trying to do the other guy.
Hmm.
Oh
Yep.
man,
Come on,
because I
man.
think it was like what was it? Another 48 hours or something like that. Nick Nolte was the first one.
Oh,
Then
yeah, yeah,
because
that's right. Yeah,
each
I
was
remember.
a different one of like movies, and I was just like when I watched it, I was like, oh, this is super dope, man.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, yeah.
But even my very first Busta Rhymes experience was Scenario.
Oh, yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
to me that was like the best part. Like the whole song was dope, but when he comes like
That energy was wild.
say as I combine it,
Ooh,
come on,
heal up, hey, back up, rewind.
powerful income. Oh, let's get it about it. Yeah, like just the
Oof.
cadence and the flow and oh,
Energetic, man. Yeah, he
bruh,
was tight.
like Busta Rhymes was one of my favorites because I still got you all in check. I had that hit, nice.
Put your
And then
hands
you
where
had,
my
you know,
eyes
and then
can
you had this,
see is still my
yeah.
jam, bro.
Oh, dude, that is so pivotal because I remember that being like almost the whole Busta Rhyme album. And I don't know if it's Extinction of It or which one it was. I have to look it up. However, that album is literally I would consider the theme album of my freshman year. because that Eyes Can See was beginning of my freshman year, and it was a little bit after Biggie died, and he kind of puts it in there, and then you had all the other stuff from that album in there, and I just remember that was the album that I was just like when Busta Rhymes came out, I was like, I'm watching him. It
Yeah.
was that summer going from my eighth grade to freshman year is probably one of the like most remembered because I don't know, and it could be wrong, but I remember I Can't Stand the Rain coming out during that time. And then which also led into dun 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 dun
Uh,
dun, dun. Ooh suck it to me, I'm gonna do right. So you had that. Then you had the Locks came out, but it was the one with Little Kim at the end, and I think it was also you had Little Kim, but then I wanted to say you also had Buster or not Buster Rhymes, DMX
DMX.
at the end of that song.
Yeah, DMX was hard as fuck too.
Oh no, that's right here now. No, this what is Locks? It wasn't Money Power Respect, was it? Oh,
Yeah,
was it?
Money Power Respect. Yeah, that was their
Oh,
first
Money Power
big ass
Respect.
hit.
What?
Yeah.
No. Was it Money Power Respect?
Money Power Respect is the
It
key to
was-
life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that beat
Dun,
was
dun,
fucking hard.
dun,
Who produced
yeah.
that one? Who was that?
I don't even
Was that
know, but it
Swiss?
was
No,
I don't know.
because Swiss came big on the
The beat
DMX
that I
side,
could
right?
freak with. Yeah, he
Yeah.
came out with that one. I
Oh,
remember the beat that I could freak with. Like
oh.
90 summer of 96.
Hype Williams music videos? Come on, man.
Dude, think about this for a minute. Like 90 summer 96. Summer of 97, right? You had you had Biggie's album coming out,
Oh,
Life After Death,
oh,
right?
double
Then you had it's
CD.
like I feel like that was when like for a while it was the beginning of 90s was like I know we're veering off. Beginning of 90s was like thought provoking rap, whatever, mixture of everything. And then you had like kind of gangster rap taking in. Snoop came in and took it down with gangster rap, right? He was like, boom, gangster rap. That lasted from about 92-ish till 95 or 96. Then Biggie made his album. And then by 96, 97, it was like for a very long time, the reign of East Coast for like a long time for I'll say like 4 or 5 years. You know what I'm saying? And then in the mid '90s or late '90s, then you had the Southern rappers come in, and then once we got into like 2004, 2005, which when we look at when we're growing up, it's like a 7 year span. All of a sudden, Southern rap just took over, you know. But we veered off completely or whatever we're talking about. But yeah, that was like Buster Rhymes and Redman are some of the funniest rappers, and then Eminem was definitely one that was like you would laugh at when he was saying until he got to his first album, and then he got to his second album, and that motherfucker was angry.
He
He was,
definitely, yeah, he definitely got that audience for sure.
he was like, I sit back with this pack, I sit back with this bag of this weed, and
But yeah,
weed, and weed.
that was the whole like genre at the time for all like music. You know what I'm saying? All top acts were kind of in this like,
Yeah,
dark
it
zone.
was weird. Yeah, yes and no, because it was the rise of like Limp Bizkit, a little bit of like rockish type of style to the stuff, right? But then like,
Hmm.
and
Lincoln
I
Park.
still remember upset, highly upset, because we live in a world where we're told that things shouldn't matter. You shouldn't separate people for certain things, and you understand that other places, and if you did, you understand that certain places had a style, right? I remember going in Hot Topics and be like, okay, Hot Topics. And then you're like, they're selling Eminem. I thought y'all didn't like rap, Oh, but we
Yeah.
only like Eminem. I was like, this is racism if I ever seen it, dude.
Crossover. Crossover artist.
Crossover artist, sure. I guess. I mean, whatever.
I mean, because how many
We
like
can say
Post
whatever.
Malone, dude? Post Malone is a country dude. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
no. Okay, Post Malone, what he is now is different than when it was at that time when it was so. I would say it was so divided on people saying that they didn't like this or that.
Yeah.
When you were talking about a place like Hot Topic that wouldn't put anything of let's just say black at the time, in my opinion, right? There was nothing black in there. It was like, okay, it was pretty much you're gonna have corn, you're gonna have goth stuff, you might have some WWE stuff in there, whatever, right? Nothing that was urban like in hip hop, right? And then you put in Eminem. You're like, what? You
Uh,
you don't have anything else and you put in Eminem, right? But if you were in a hip hop store, they was fucking with you if you was a lyricist. You know what I'm saying?
uh, true.
But somehow on top would have that in BC Boys. You know what I'm saying? I joke around because to me that was one of those things where I know I'm closed minded on it, whatever. But it was one of those things where I'm like, this is blatant.
What,
This is
racism?
blatant. You know what I'm saying? Huh? This is
Racism?
blatant. Well, it
Hot
was just blatant.
topic.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, it was to me, and it is like because it was one of those things where it was like you call out other stores at that time when I was growing up. It was like, okay, you call out stores for oh, it's only black stuff, and then you go into one, it's like, oh, okay, and then you're like, what? You have Eminem in here? You don't even have anything else. There's so many other artists that are dope, you know.
That's true. Eminem was like Larry
And
Bird,
and,
man.
and granted,
You know what I'm
granted,
saying?
Hot Topic was considered a rock vibe-ish store.
Yeah, when it first came out, right? I'm to
Yeah,
believe that. Okay. Is it still around?
it's still around. It's still around.
It's like a novelty store now.
Usually got like yeah, you get like the funny, the weird stuff.
Yeah, they inherited what store used to do that? Like Spencer's Gifts or something like that.
Yeah, like Spencer's. Yeah,
Yeah, I used to love that store. I'd be like, oh, look at this shit. This is hella funny. Like where you could
yeah,
get just
right.
cool
Yeah,
gifts when you were that age. You're like, oh, I could spend a lot of money on some
yeah.
nonsense.
You do gag gifts like, ooh, okay, balls, ice makers that look like balls, like
Yeah.
circles.
That
And you're
goofy
like,
shit.
and then you give someone who's like, what is this bullshit you giving
Yeah.
me, right?
People
You're the
use it
only
as shit.
laughing. Yeah. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So I gives you the gift, and they're the only one. The person giving the gift is the only one laughing, where the person getting is like, what the fuck is this bullshit?
It's hilarious, bro. That's fucking hilarious. Yeah, no, Busta Rhymes, Method Man, Eminem. Eminem, I think, is just, I get it. Because rap at that time was transitioning to becoming pop culture. That's what Eminem kind of helped thrust that music and stomp out like at that time what pop music was the boy band shit. You know what I'm saying? That was dominating. Like our high school years were filled with, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, and
It was, it
all
was,
yeah, Blink
it was
182.
weird because it was like, it was definitely, at least to me, right? It was definitely weird, where I felt like I learned, and I think we said this even when we went to Heredity. It was like in high school is where I was starting to really learn the separation and segregation of people and styles, and it was kind of like you had to choose a side in a weird way to me,
Yeah.
you know. And it
You had
was
to
like,
choose
all
a
right,
gang. You had to choose a
who
gang
you
when you
right
get it.
rolling with, and then and I'll just be the first one to admit it was like because it was like so separated that you felt like this, like, oh, if you're not this, you can't be that. That it was very visceral and a feeling. It was like, all right, well, fine. You don't want to fuck with me. I don't want to fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, and he kept it like, it was kind of like he kept it, at least when I was in Southern California, he kept it like, all right, you think your way, I think your way, and we will just like leave it at that. I'm cool with you, but once it gets to this certain thing, we're not like
We don't
fucking
fuck with each
discussing.
other.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
That's cool. I'm actually cool with
and
that.
then he was cool with that.
I'm cool with that. That makes sense.
And then as we gotten older, it was like, and it should be this way. It's not. I'm not knocking that bad, but it was like as you gotten older, it was like you got to veer out and try other things and try new things and blah blah blah. Be open minded, And I'll be the first one to admit it was like I was open minded for a while, not because maybe it was just like a lot of hate towards things that I felt like was going towards things I like. Like if I was bringing some of my friends to a soul food restaurant, like like in spaces I lived in, at least in Sacramento, it was like I'm supposed to be comfortable with every pho or Chinese spot in Sacramento area. When I was like, hey, check this soul food spot out, it was like people were trying to look at it like, what is this? And, 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 what is this? pick apart the things, and I was sitting like, what the fuck, man? Like, I'm down to try out your shit, and you're sitting here dissecting, doing a whole science experiment on this shit,
Ah,
fucking
man.
chicken, bro. You know?
Exactly. Put a smile on your face. Fuck all this is nonsense. You know what I'm saying? You having a good time?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, I got this idea, man. Eat some raw fish. And this black dude like, what the fuck? Eat raw shit? Nah,
Man.
nah,
Oh, baby, I
motherfucker.
like it
Yeah,
raw.
raw.
Oh,
Right, the
baby,
only
I
thing I
like it
like to eat
raw.
raw is
Yeah.
ginger. Raw ginger.
In my tea, please.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's time traveling right there. Yeah, that's I think what Eminem did was the superpower to battle against the stardom of or the dominance of boy bands and pop stars at that time. It was like a convergence, and then Eminem, because that was that one song that he was clowning everybody, and then he made that music video with a parody of all those bands and boy bands and shit.
Yes. Yeah.
I was like,
You don't know the name of my band. Remember
mm-hmm,
that one?
mm-hmm. What song
Uh,
was that?
what was D12 on that one
Oh,
of
there you go.
those?
Yeah. See?
And then
And that was
and
funny. I
then
was
like,
just doing a deep dive on Death Row a little bit, like earlier in the week. I was learning about Suge Knight and some of those um, stories and some of the people. A lot of people are kind of speaking out now, so many years after the fact, but fascinating to hear some of the perspectives. You know,
what were they saying?
like who was what's that called? Um, who was the singer, the R&B dude that they had under the label? I just forgot his name. Bobby something.
Bobby Shmurda? Oh,
Something Bobby. Anyways, there was an interview with him. He was talking about some stuff. Um, it was just interesting. Like it came off of that BET doc. They did like a part one series on like Death Row Records, and it was like a 45-hour long like thing. Pretty dope, I think. Just interesting perspective on the rise or how it came together. Using a lot of like real interviews and kind of that whole thing. And I was like, oh, this is fascinating, and then just kind of dabbling into each person's take, like on what happened or some of the interviews. And yeah, it was interesting how Suge Knight was kind of portrayed uh, in the media back then and hearing that. Not to say, I got to obviously read a lot more, listen to more if I'd like to, but yeah, I don't know. It just seems like he was like a normal dude, more or less. You know what I'm saying?
who?
And Suge Knight, yeah.
So
Like at
so
least
so you're saying,
coming
so people are
on.
like, let me just clarify. So you're saying that people were over exaggerating what he did?
I can't say no, that's not real. I think both can exist, and I'm trying to figure out what is death row in the whole scheme of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, because when we look back at it, that's huge. Given where Dr. Dre, Snoop,
Yeah,
and basically the whole Super Bowl halftime, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
we're there today.
Some people
So
are really upset that Ice Cube wasn't a part of that.
yeah, what happened with that? What was that?
I don't know. It could be other things going on. Because it was
Big
like
three going on.
it was LA, and then they had Eminem instead of like I kind of agree with you. Like, how are you gonna have Eminem and not Ice Cube? It was, but it's not. I'm not mad at it. To me, it shouldn't have been this or that. It could have been both. I just to me, it's like, how do you not have Ice Cube in it as well?
Hmm.
Now, it could be the only thing I can think of. It could be was at that time, Ice Cube was one of the few uh rappers, black rappers, that was saying like, I'm not doing this vaccine, fuck you, type of thing. Because he was one of the
Ooh,
main ones that was saying that at the time too,
yeah,
where he was
that
like,
is
"Nah, I'm
true.
not for this," and like, no, we need to do more things for black people, and no, Trump does this.
That
One of
is
the few
right. I
that,
remember that. Yes.
yeah, he was one of the few that was doing that at that time,
Speaking
and I don't,
against. Yeah.
yeah, speaking against certain things. Now, the NFL wasn't necessarily, I mean, in a way, like what Ice Cube was representing would align with more NFL fans as a mass. I think that it was still against because it was in LA, it was still against what LA wanted, you know?
That's why it's controversial when they were going to like, where all the stars were at. They're like, look, he doesn't even have a mask on. And I was like, okay. Like what is that supposed to make people feel like? You know what I'm saying? But I do
Yeah,
remember that. Yes. Yeah,
I
like
mean the
that
same.
whole halftime. Like I'm like, yeah, what to
Like so when
see
you
how
talk about
death rows affect on the world up until now.
Death Row was I mean at that time. Well, I mean it's weird because I look back at it. You had Dog Pound, right? You had Corrupt, Warren G. It's still one of the songs. Nobody does it better. Right? You have that, but it's weird because it's like I remember it feeling a lot grander than it really was.
What that whole album?
No, just Death Row as a whole. It went like it went up real quick and then sputtered out. However, I guess you can almost say that with Bad Boys because Bad Boys artists. I feel like I feel like I feel like Puff Daddy really lived off of Biggie and Biggie's name for a very long time. He had people like Mary J. Blige, but it was like all I remember is after Biggie's death, it was just Biggie, Biggie, Biggie. And you have people there and they'll drop out. You had Craig Mack there, you drop out. You had what's the guy? Make that money, take that money. Ain't no way you can man that. Vroom, vroom.
Who is
Black
that?
Rob, like whoa, like
Oh
Black Rob.
yeah. I will. I will. Special delivery.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that is true. See what I think the death row is like kind of aligned also with uh the easy stuff easily. You know what I'm saying? Because easy at the time was the NWA stuff. So that plays it's not necessarily a part of Death Row's history, but it is just based on Dre's existence and Snoop's not Snoop's, but Dre's existence for sure. And that whole
yeah,
complication from, going from Ruthless Records and having his storied career even before that, and then going from Ruthless to Death Row and that whole exchange, and then putting Death Row to that, and then moving on from going forward and everything
yeah.
in between.
That's why I consider NWA one of the. They may not have been like the greatest as far as group as far as albums, but they're the greatest as the impact in hip hop. One of the greatest, if not the top, as far as what spawned off from that group.
Mm.
Because like you just say the three. You have Easy E. I think we talked about this. We have Easy E, Dre, and then Ice Cube. Right? Dre is one of the ones that stand out the most because he produced for Snoop Dogg, produced for Dr. Dre, produced for Eminem, produced for 50 Cent. To start off West, Midwest to East Coast, which 50 then got other people from the G Unit to bringing in Game to going back to West, not bringing in Game, right? So you have all that. And then everything he's touched from producing. But then you throw in Ice Cube, and Ice Cube, you're like, okay, Ice Cube. Well, he was the underlying rap writer for NWA. And then he was the first rapper to like, well, he not first rapper, but he played in a movie, Minister Society. Was it Minister? No, Boys in the Hood, right? And then the Friday movie. He was the person that was like, I'm out of just rapping. I'm actually going to transition into making movies and enjoying movies to now putting his son on into making movies, and then you have Easy E and I was gonna say Bone Thugs and Harmony, and that little small group was huge at that time when we were growing up. But I just feel like that group kind of really brought up gangster rap, but then everything that Dre touched to everything that Ice Cube touched. So, I still consider Dr. Dre one of the best, if not the best producer. It's obviously one sided because some people can say Timberland, and then you got Pharrell. Um, then you got other people like Kanye, Just Blaze, which I also side note we're veering off from that, but I used to I used to say that Kanye is more influential than Jay-Z, but don't people don't want to hear me that though.
Oh, I say easily.
Yeah,
Easily. Like hands down, easily. I listen to fucking Kanye's catalog once a week.
bro.
Bruh.
He's the reason why
Come on,
why
man. Stop playing. Stop playing around. He's
I don't
still
necessarily
alive.
always agree with him, but he's the one that the reason why I got into making beats.
Come
He was
on,
the
man.
one. He was the reason why I was starting to wear pink polos and backpacks and embrace the backpack side.
Straight up, man. He's like a yeah, when it's all said and done, his legacy up until this point is quite impressive. Quite impressive. You know what I'm saying? It's like the LeBron thing, man. It's you guys understand this is about to end soon. Like this is about to end soon. This character and this guy,
Yeah.
he's about to be done. Like not in the too distant future, you know, so enjoy it. It's kind of that thing. It's like, dang, dude, this is impressive. Like let's savor this shit.
No, really, really. I mean, like honestly, I think people don't realize how like yeah how dope LeBron. I mean, people do, but it's like they spend so much time hating him. I was like, Jesus, man, like enjoy this dude, man.
He had
Pause.
to, man. It's like it's like John Cena, you know what I'm saying, being the face of the
That's funny you
WWE.
say that because I didn't realize how dominant John Cena was in the WWE and for doing it that long.
Come on, man. He has the most Make-A-Wish Foundation wishes granted. Uh dude works 300 days out of the year, like, and he held the company together when the company was really struggling, you know,
Yeah,
to their superstars all left and it was just him. I was like, and everybody hated it. The gimmick was corny, but he got over and he was stuck through it and his following is grand. But his legacy off it is crazy too. So it's like
yeah.
this dude ended up becoming like their greatest representative of their company, you know,
It's weird
like
because everything he did in that time, and he was actually a rapper. He actually had a rap song with Murs, right? He actually is a
he
dude
was
that like
legit. He's legit, dude.
that rapper,
He's
and he was rapping
legit.
about LA because when he got his big part, he was from the East Coast, but then he came to LA and really kind of enjoyed that, right? And I do kind of miss the faded hair John Cena
Oh,
because
dude, my
first,
brother has a funny ass story. He met him. He went to go watch a dark taping of their uh you know, like those underground, not underground, but just smaller venue wrestling things, and he was there on behalf of the WWE as Prototype. And he was just all chilling, and he met
name
him in
right,
the
put it back,
bathroom.
yeah.
Yeah, he met him in the bathroom. Was like, "Hey, man, Prototype, I'm going to the top," or something like that. My brother does the fucking story hilarious, but I was like, "That's crazy." From that guy all the way to even now, I was like, "Damn, dude,
Dude,
kudos,
it's
man."
weird because like yeah, well for me it was just Stone Cold, The Rock. That whole little thing was like amazing, and then The Rock when Stone Cold kind of dropped off, I stopped watching it, and Rock was taking over. And I remember hearing how John Cena was actually really upset about The Rock dropping out when he was on his way up. It was like, dude, like I never had an opportunity to really go against you and all this other stuff. And then he said it was out of jealousy, obviously, because he was seeing all that stuff, and then he started to make his movies like The Marine and then do other things. However, it wasn't until I seen like I was not a John Cena overall fan until like I watched Peacemaker on HBO, right? And I was like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden it was like I'm loving the jokes within the jokes on John Cena. I'm loving these movies where he's now taking it into being part of the joke.
He's comedic relief.
Yeah, the comedic relief,
That's so
and
crazy.
just enjoying it. It's like okay, he's like okay with taking in the comedic relief because it's doing really well for him. Because sometimes the other stuff I've seen him do when he's the serious is like it's not really that funny, but him doing other parts where it's a comedic relief are not. His serious stuff was bad, but his comedic relief stuff was excellent in my opinion. You know,
Oh, see, these are complete packages. These are like athletic guys that could do it all. Like what? These are superhuman people.
and he wasn't really fronting on the rap. He was really about like he really enjoyed rapping. So it was
Uh,
like because like you look at somebody's like, what are you? Are you real? Blah blah. And it's like as I saw more into, it, I was like, you know what? I have to give John Cena his props of who he was and how long he did it, and how,
the
like
hate he had to
the
endure.
Jordans. He had the jorts.
Jeez. Yeah, the
He was
jorts, the over
yeah,
like big baggy shirt. It was
you can't
cornball,
see.
but it was his gimmick,
Yeah,
and he got
but it's
over.
weird because gimmick, but when you like, I feel like that was still part of who he really was, though. He was
True.
it wasn't necessarily a gimmick because some people, it was and it wasn't. You know, the over the top Jordan part was like, okay, this is look, I'm gonna have to stick with it.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's just like, no, I'm really about this stuff, you know.
yeah. He the truest hip hop representative out there, bro.
Yeah.
They're amongst us. Freestyle, breakdancing, MC and DJing, producing. They're still out there. They just hide amongst us. They're still out there, folks. Hip hop is alive and well. At least that's how I see it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, John Cena, kudos. But yeah, that legacy of, just behind somebody's shadow. It's a short amount of time. Kanye's here. It ain't gonna be forever. You know what I'm saying? But the music, you gotta, woo, man. Dark Twisted. Oh,
Oh yeah, that was my Dark Twisted Fantasy, which everybody
Devil in
has.
it. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, bro. Hands down.
Dude, like I said, he's the reason why I got into making beats.
Straight up,
I
man.
hate it. When this first album came out. I was like, I don't like this fucking Kanye cocky ass bastard. And then for some reason, I was like, I looked it up, and he was like, he did H to the Izzo, then he did On My Block, then
You
he
was listening to
did,
him the whole
then he,
time.
then it was Agatha all along. It was him all along. I was like, what? He did the not the quality. He did what was it? The on Quality's second album. Yeah, just to get by.
Just to get,
To get by.
just to get.
Yeah, and then I was just like, this
I turn it
all
up. I turn
this
it
is all
up.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. He's co-signed, bro.
Dude, he did I think he did stand up. Don't do don't with
Some
Ludacris.
people want it all.
No, it's not that one.
Oh no.
He did like the you don't know my name. He did that one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, that was hard.
And then what sold me the most was when he put out Common's B.
Oh, no, come on,
Yo.
man. Come on, man. Yay.
Well, I don't
Yay.
know if he did that one. I think that was probably still Jay Dilla, but either way, it was the
Man,
album produced most
dude.
of the beat brought Common back from life after Aquarius or whatever that
Oh,
was.
I brought him back from life.
Because he had some of that Erykah Badu booty, and then it was just
Oh, that's so funny. What is it? What does she have? Is she some kind of like voodoo lady or something?
she has magical powers down there. It's
That's what they say. Because I was
it's
listening to some
like
Andre the 2000 and they were talking about like why he don't rap. I was like, God damn.
what is that magical elk, whatever they call elk root or elk, you can whiff of that, and all of a sudden, just like, hey, you know what? Things start to make sense now. E does equal
Oh,
MC square. You
oh
know what I'm saying? Like
man. What?
complex, like just like have your boy, what is it? The guy you can't stand right now, the astrophysicist.
Oh, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Just have him sniff some of that. He's like, actually, the Buddhism in your booty is
Oh
the
man.
center of all mass gravity and the beginning of time and space.
Yeah, there must be something magical. Some
I went into Erica Badu's black hole, and what came out was the reality of relativity. Yeah, I'm just you know what I'm saying?
man,
Like,
dude. Yeah, dude, what
it
happened to Andre 3000? But see, I don't when I hear his
was good or
interviews,
maybe it
like
was
it
bad,
makes
but I think
sense.
it's great because he was like,
Yeah, it makes
know,
sense.
Andre was always like out there, but I still like for me when he had a speaker box and Love Below, I loved Love Below more.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Other than like there was one yeah, I'm afraid like I'm scared as a dog and I got a new song. I want y'all the same. Oh, the whole world. I was thinking in between. Cause the whole world loves it when you don't get down, but which is when I look back at it is true.
That's
It's just
a
like
Killer Mike, right? No, was that Killer
yeah.
Mike? Yeah, yeah,
So
Killer
mine
Mike.
came
Yeah.
out, yeah. But it's like in the whole world loves it when you don't. It was like it's like in a weird way it was talking about how the world loves it when you're not. when you're always happy all the time, when you don't
Yeah,
get down. People don't really want to hear people say they're upset,
true.
right? But then also um when you had like synthesizer, which was on one of the songs, like synthesizer, it was like
Hmm.
synthesizer microwave me so I can and I have 7 babies. It was like talk about how people are not real anymore. And look at us,
Hmm.
3 synthesized
That's why they left the game. They were like, "Yeah, we're
AI,
gonna drop
AI,
this and we're done. Like all the messaging's in
AI.
there. You good?"
You know,
Hmm.
we have AI, artificial intelligence. We had Chat GPT photos.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh
It's
man.
like we're not, with the myriad of the things that I've talked about ad nauseum in the podcast, but you get what I'm saying. It's like, all right, we're not even talking to each other in person. We're synthesized through the internet, breaking down to ones and zeros with milliseconds of information being transferred,
Telling you, man.
roughly 10 to 15 miles, 20 miles away, you know,
Dude,
with a
they special something. They special. The South.
delayed conversation, so it gives us time to when we're speaking, there's a delay in between both of us to be synced up.
Come on, man. They knew they old or new or something like that. They're either from some different era and they don't ever reveal that. You know how there's that idea of time travelers, like we're on the subject of time travelers. You know, they suspected people that time travel.
Yeah, it's like this person's not even, they came back in time to give us something to help us in the future,
Hmm. Or they're
you
from the
know.
past and visiting. And sometimes people will say some wild shit like that. Like, yeah, I'm a time traveler. It's like, okay, buddy. But anyways, if that is the case, I'm like, dude, they gotta be something like that. Cause you listen to their early albums. Like I started like really getting into like when AT Aliens dropped. I was like, oh, this is that was my more or less favorite album. Probably my favorite album for sure. Only because of the time, seventh, eighth grade, seventh grade, I think, or eighth grade, one of those grades. I was like, this
Mhm.
is woo, this speaks to me. AT
No, yeah,
Alien, the name already set the precedence. You're like, these dudes, the whole entire time they're telling us that they ain't from here. You know what I'm saying?
I remember, I always remember you and John loving elevators, right?
Oh, dude, come on,
And I
bro.
always like the other one. 18 Aliens was like, what's the other one? Sorry, I can't even think of it right now. But everybody was on me and you,
You,
your
your mama
mom,
and your cousin too.
although the best line was like, or he was talking, for me, the best line was when he was talking about where he seen someone in the mall the other day, stopped him to say, you know, something I can't remember. I have to listen to it. It was like,
Oh fuck,
uh
that shit was
not enough
insane.
money to last me the end of the week. But I live by the beat. So like you live check to check. If you move your feet and I don't eat, so we like neck to neck. Like what? Like that part was like when he was talking about like somebody coming up and like, I love your stuff. It's like, man, we like in a way he was saying we're the same. The problem is I have to keep moving to make my money, just the same. So if you don't move your feet, then I don't eat. So we like neck to neck. Like, yo,
Oh, come on.
dog, like Audrey's gotta be in the top 10 of all time lyricists if that isn't even a list. I know it's so subjective, but still.
I think artistically, like definitely unique talent for sure. Because it's so hard to, as I think about that question, sometimes I'm like, man, there's so many factors that just go into that, that whole space. You know what I'm saying? As we were talking about like the Jay Z Kanye thing, because I was like, yeah, man, the more you think about it and as time sits, it's kind of like, damn, certain things do kind of like are timeless, and you kind of get into the notes in the deep pockets of it. You're like, dude, this dude, okay, trace this engineer, trace this producer, trace this, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, you're introduced to this whole new world. You're like, wait a minute. That's why, yeah, that's like talking on the Kanye thing. I was like, ooh, man, he's up there. But Dre, Big Boy, like the music they made together, man, and the whole Dungeon fam, like how that I could understand that. And what you said, like then the South just took over. Like, I mean, it's always
But they were a different South though.
yeah, different South, but still coming from that energy out there. So whatever's in the water, man, it's real,
Weird.
bro.
Like, 'cause there is literally like Like if you did watch, did you ever watch Atlanta, the TV show?
No, I did not.
So my experience, it is there is like different parts of the South where you have like the Southern slang intellectual, which was the Outcast, the oh, I can't think of the other group, Goody Mob, Scarface. And I'm not sitting there saying that other people aren't, but it was more of like we think about this. Nah, man, we ain't cool with this. Blah blah. While you have like the trap, which is most hoods in every place was like, nah, man, skinny skirt, but move the
Yeah,
crack or whatever, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
somehow the move the crack part just took over because I also say that because like when when you look at Ludacris and he came out, he was very he came off like the very basic ATL. And you're like, he had no, you thought you didn't have substance. But then when you
Mm.
really heard flow, he was like one of the more like when he
Oh,
was featured, like his freestyle or when he featured on someone was one of the nastiest. There was times where I was like, what? You know?
yeah.
Um,
Ludacris was
what do you say?
pretty
What do you say?
tight.
I'm so hood. I should have been on the original version. Like when he said that, like Ludacris was like Ludacris, you go back and he was like, Ludacris is a spitter. Like
Yeah,
when he really gets a chance, But he started off a certain way, then he kind of moved towards like a more thoughtful stuff, and then he kind of goes back because unfortunately, I believe, unfortunately, the simplistic stuff sells more, which makes sense.
hard to be an artist, man. Especially,
Yeah.
like booming like in the mainstream, and then to sustain that, that's probably the hardest shit. And how to mitigate that and how to control that in different phases of your career, especially if you have like a big rise and then
Mhm.
just kind of, stay in the cuts.
Yeah. Sorry. So you're talking about artists, and I was thinking about like staying the cuts, and then I remember seeing that David's going to be at the halftime show tomorrow for the Warriors and the Lakers.
Whoa.
Yeah, like I mean, I know he's done other things, but I was like, all right, Dave, all right, cool, man. Like I don't know if he's ever done a play. I don't know if he's ever done a playoff game, but I was like, oh, good on you, man.
Pretty sure he has.
I'm
I
pretty
mean,
sure he
not
has.
in I mean, not in sack, obviously, but
No, not at all.
so I was like,
Actually, it's
that
kind
was
of funny you
recently.
say that because, like, he's a Sacramento person going to the Bay, which it's like s- sometimes Bay Area people accept Sacramento people, right? Like the boogie, not the boogie monsters, sorry, the Jabberwockies, and whatnot, and then David and certain things. But it was like I don't know why, but it just reminded me of like how E40 accepted a lot of things from Sacramento. That he comes here and then goes to the game and gets kicked out. It was kind of funny to me. It's like what, like how there's a lot of people from the Bay. Like, oh yeah, cool, Sac. Yeah, we don't have a problem. And then Sacramento has a problem with sometimes Bay Area people.
There's always that rivalry. Even more so now, obviously, through basketball.
Oh,
But
more so now. Yeah,
before that, there was definitely vibes. But it's more like I think who said it?
rivalry in a way.
Yeah, no, it's like a family rivalry. It's like, oh, we
Yeah,
still cousins. We know who the big dog is. Like, you San Francisco's big dog, but we over here like we doing our thing. All right. Just,
yeah.
y'all
You
cool, but we got some we
yeah.
cook up things,
I
I
where
might
people go out there to enjoy. I mean, I don't think people from San Francisco come to Sacramento to enjoy their weekend. Like I went to Sacramento, maybe they'll go to Napa, but I ain't going to Sacramento. Like, man, I'm going to Sacramento
but
and
they
get
come here to come see like shows, come see talent, come hear talent, come see small shows. This is where it
do they?
breeds talent out here, man, for sure. There's an
Yeah,
audience out here, man. There's a this is where like artists hone the craft, I say. They're here and they're not bothered and they're able to perform in front of like real audiences where they're like, boo, you whack. You're like, all right, cool, that's perfect.
you
They
whack,
go
you
out and then
whack.
all of a sudden
Yeah, no. It's like you
blow
whack.
up.
Boo. Yeah, boo, you whack. Hey, I'm gonna see you at the church on Saturday. Thanks,
That's what I'm
mom.
thinking. That's
Yeah,
what I'm thinking.
thanks, mom.
A lot of talent out here, man. A lot of talent.
Yeah,
Uh,
before we go, man, I wanted to say about talent and shows, whatever. So I went to go see Ali Wong this weekend.
Okay.
You know, I believe Joe was at Golden One and Ali Wong was at the Hard Rock or whatever, way out in Wheatland.
Hmm.
I can't remember the guy's name that she was with, right? But dude, this comedian reminded me so much of you, man. Like, dude had the mustache, the
Man.
little goatee and long hair, right? But he had said something, man, that reminded me so much of you. He was telling a joke. He was talking about how he was talking about cooking, right? And he was like, hey, cooking, you get older, blah blah. He was talking about how shallots is like when you really want to treat yourself, you get shallots instead of onions. It's like the more elevated, like high class. He was talking about berries, right? It's like, you know what? You know how kids are. He was like, I just bought a bunch of berries. They're kind of expensive, but whatever. And he was talking about how kids are irrational about eating berries, right? But the part that got me, which made me think of you, is like, he's like, I don't know, berries are good, man. They got antioxidants in it. I don't even know what an oxidant is. I looked it up, and all it ever does, I googled it. Trust me, uh, all it is a ruse because you look up you look up oxidants, and just refers you back to antioxidants. And I was like, that is something literally Ryan would say. Like I would look at it, I was like, yo, because it's like, what is an oxidant? You can't tell me what an oxidant is, but you can
Because
tell
it's
me what an
anti though.
antioxidant is. An antioxidant. So I don't know what an oxidant is.
Gotcha.
All I know is the anti. This has the antioxidant.
God damn it.
You know,
They had me
no,
profiled. They sent out a
it
clone of
was
me.
no. We all have a archetype, right? We like I'm
Mm.
an architect of someone else, right? Or
Yeah.
similarities, right?
Yeah.
It was funny because one, he googled it. It was like, I don't even know what oxidant is. Like kind of like that whole woke thing. Like you guys don't even pay attention, but like I'm gonna tell you this. What is an oxidant? Why is it so important? If they can't even tell me what the basic of it, what is the anti of it then,
That's hilarious.
We have antimatter, but you have to know what matter is to have antimatter, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Anti-hero. For some reason we have antioxidants, but we don't even know what an oxidant is.
Boom. See, that's how they get you. It's all in the wording, man. God damn
Yeah.
it. I'm a prototype. I need to change my look. They're on to me. They're on to me. I got to change my look again. Where do I go? Seventh grade Ryan, get the Nike back on the back. I have a scar here that looks like a swirl. So I'm like, oh, do I got to bring the fade back since everybody's rocking mullets and long hair?
Because now you said I remember that little scar
Come on, man. Come on.
many moons
See,
ago. That's all right.
then
Whatever.
I'll do the Hitler joint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Get
do
that
that.
get that
That's
nice
always
and
good. No,
tight.
no, no. You gotta do the
Or I'll call it Jordan. Sorry, wrong name. I'll do Michael Jordan.
uh Michael Jordan, the little small one. Did Michael Jordan have a small little
He did
fat?
that. Remember he rocked it in like he rocked it at the arena one time.
Really?
You don't remember that?
No, man.
Oh my.
Dude, what I was trying to think of was more of the Huckleberry, where you had those small little patch right down there, and
Oh, he
the
had that too. Yeah, he had that what's
that,
that called? The
uh,
Guy Fox mask. Like it's just this.
yeah, you should do that, man. Like put the wax in, do it all nice,
I'll probably do
because
that. I'll probably trim
I,
this
I
down.
could
I'll
be a
do that.
Huckleberry. Yeah.
I'll do that. Yeah. I'll probably keep this for a while. I do like this. This is quite nice. But yeah, no, that's funny. That sounds like something I would say. Interesting. Interesting. I'll think about that. Nice. Thank you, brother. Always. Love and appreciate. Sky high. Yes. Go Lakers.
Go. Oh well, yeah. We'll in the record. We'll talk about that offline. Well,